to Happy Wife, Happy Life. We're your hosts. I'm Kendahl Landreth.
And I'm Jordan Myrick.
And we are two incredibly unqualified,
but deeply in love comedians who are here to help you with all things relationships. And on today's episode, we're doing a Q&A.
Oh, I'm just over the moon to be doing this Q&A. This is actually not just a Q&A. It's an email-specific Q&A.
Why are you over the moon?
Because I love reading about your lives.
I do too. It really feels fun to do Q&A because it feels like we're just talking to friends, gabbing, giving you advice, but it's all solicited advice. Because we all, everybody wants to give advice all the time, no matter what.
Yes.
But this is specifically people looking for advice. So it feels like Kendahl and I can just say anything because people are asking for it.
And what you guys don't know is that privately in our personal lives with friends, we are giving constant unsolicited advice. So this podcast is not just a thing that we were like, oh, we need to make up a topic for a podcast so we can have a podcast. We desperately need to give advice that's unsolicited. So this has saved a lot of our friends having to be like, please stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys always send us the most insane emails, and I'm obsessed with it because I do just get notified in the middle of the day. I'll be at the dentist and I just get an email that's titled my husband's toenails, I found them in my butt. That's what I wanted to say.
What's wrong with you?
Well, it'll just be a crazy email headline and I'm like, what is this? And then I'm like, oh, it's for the podcast.
Yeah, it seems like someone's just emailing you personally.
Yes, or it'll be like, help, am I gay? And I'm like, who's sending this?
Help!
That was a better example.
Yeah.
How's your week going, Jordan?
My week is going good, fine, weird.
It's your freaking birthday week.
It is my birthday week, which is great, but we did just get notice that we will no longer be recording at the Spotify studios.
I know.
They're doing some changes here, so nobody's recording at the Spotify studios anymore.
Yeah, to be clear, we weren't
kicked out or anything. We didn't behave poorly. We just won't be. So now we're kind of in a mad scramble to find a new place to record.
Yes, this is a real cliffhanger. Whatever episode is released next week, you're going to kind of see what the conclusion to that is. You're going to see how we figured it out.
Shake out. Yeah,
it's going to be us in a trash yard.
Yeah, hey, there could be no episode next week.
No
way to know. No way to know.
But anyways, but honestly, Jordan, I care and love about you, but I can't ask you more questions because we have that many.
You care and love about me?
I care and love about you. But we don't even have time.
Fine, I'll go over it real quick. It's my birthday weekend. We went to Ojai. Ojai was incredible.
Oh my God.
We're having the time of our lives. Everything was wonderful. Kendahl and I's relationship is perfect. We're more in love than ever. Let's get into the questions.
Okay.
Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so. I think you got it all.
Thanks.
We had a really good salmon. We had a really good piece of salmon. I know, Ojai. It was really good. Okay. Here are the email questions. Okay. Now, buckle up, you guys. There's a lot of drama. And what I will say, I went through this morning and I made a Google Doc of all the questions. And I was going to go back through and be like, I'll edit them down to be smaller. I was reading through them. I feel like no detail can be removed.
I cannot make them smaller.
I cannot make them shorter. I was like, this is a 9-paragraph essay. Something has to be able to be taken out. No, you guys are cramming in important details. So we're keeping them full length. So take your Adderall if you need it and buckle in.
Let's go.
Hi, Jordan and Kendahl.
That's us.
I met my boyfriend of now 9-ish months online. We met through Twitch and he lives across the world. And we're so far very happy together. We haven't quite gotten to the part where we talk about what the future looks like for us geographically, which is fine with me, but we are planning to meet each other in person for the first time in a few months. My friends know about him and are all very cool about it being a slightly out of the ordinary setup, but I'm a little worried about telling my parents. We're both adults, to be clear. I'm 28 and he's 27. But my parents are retired, boring, and frankly, pretty conservative. And the last time I dated someone seriously, there was always a weirdness in the air, in parentheses, racism. So I'm not entirely sure how they'll react to me dating a person that lives on the other continent. Do you have any advice for talking to parents about meeting your partner in a way that probably would never make sense to them? And I love this question because I feel like so many people are meeting their partners online through dating apps. Well, really, I guess that's it. And I feel like that sometimes takes parents for a, what would you say? Take parents for a whirl is what I want to say.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. What would you think?
Take parents for a whirl makes perfect sense. So I think that's true. Yeah, I think that sometimes with older generations, it's like, why don't you just go out to the sock hop and meet the boy that lives next door to your house? And then you guys, and it's like, things aren't like that anymore. Yeah. Sorry, things are different. I will say, because you are asking 9 months and no discussion of the future.
You're talking to two lesbians here.
That feels 9 months and no discussion of the future. 9 months into discussion. I'll give it to every camera. 9 months into discussion of the future. 9 months. What's going on?
I know.
That's too long. That makes me nervous. What's going on with that?
Well, here's why I think it should make you nervous too, is that to me, a lot of things in a relationship are great and important. But I would say I've seen in my adult life more couples break up over geological differences than anything else, even more than breaking up over kids, breaking up over
cheating, whatever.
Cheating. I feel like I know so many couples who love each other, but they cannot find a place that they both want to live. And so I do think that is something you should talk about, but that's not really the question. So maybe that's me giving unsolicited advice.
I think it's something to think about, though. I think you're 100% right. And I think 9 months of not talking about that feels a little suspect to me. I think a big thing in relation to this with your parents, which is what you're truly asking about, is you have to cut them some slack in relation to this, because meeting someone from the internet, from the other side of the world, is scary. Something bad could happen. And I understand that you feel like you know this person, you care about this person, nothing bad could happen. But in reality, something bad could happen. Something bad could happen in meeting someone from a dating website that lives down the street from you.
Yeah.
Meeting new people is scary. So I would understand if your parents felt a little anxious about that. If I were you, probably wouldn't tell my parents. Probably would tell all my friends.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a 127-hour situation. Everyone would know where I was. Everyone would have my contact information. Me and this person would be meeting in a secure, neutral spot.
Yeah.
Where's this person from?
Right.
Singapore. I'm from New York City. We're meeting in France. You know what I mean? Like, we're meeting in a neutral situation, neutral place. Like, don't tell your parents. Your parents don't need to know all your business.
They don't need to know. And just lie. I mean, just tell them you met. You can even say we met online. We met online.
Yes.
But what I will also say, too, is it's like, I think there is truth. Like, you're doing something kind of insane. And that's fine. And no judgment here, because, hey, I did the same exact thing. Jordan and I did. You lived in LA and I lived in New York when we met. And I was like, I'm ready to move to Los Angeles and be in love. And, shouldn't say it to my face, but I have a feeling my mom was probably like, yikes. I feel like now, we were talking about this other day, this need to normalize everything.
Yes.
Like, don't make me feel weird about this thing I'm doing. Normalize it. It doesn't, what you're doing is just simply statistically not normal.
Sometimes what you're doing is weird, and just embrace that.
And that's fine. Embrace it. That is exactly right. It's like, no one needs to tell you it's okay. Even if all your friends were like, weird, it's great they're being supportive, but if they're like, that's weird, you're insane, who cares? It's fine. You can still do it. Take people's opinions with a grain of salt.
Or maybe they're right and listen to them. I'm like, think about you as a person. Do you make a lot of bad judgment calls? I think people really need to be honest with themselves about that. Do you make a lot of bad judgment calls?
Yeah.
If you make a lot of bad judgment calls and your friends are like, this is probably another bad judgment call, something to think about.
Sure.
If in general you don't make a lot of bad judgment calls, you have a pretty level head on your shoulders, you're pretty responsible, and you're doing something that feels out of the ordinary, accept that. But accept that it's a little out of the ordinary. I think people can accidentally get like, I need my friends and parents and the people close to me to be 100% on board with every single thing I'm doing and never have any thoughts or questions or negativity around it. And while you don't want a ton of hate, also the people near you are going to have feelings about things you do. Even with Kendahl and I mean, Kendahl does things that I'm like, I wouldn't do it that way.
Okay, next question.
I'd be like, why are you doing it that way? Yeah. Or here's how I would do it. I'm not judging her. I'm not being like, you're stupid or you're a bad person.
Yeah.
Sometimes the people around you, they're not you. So they're just going to want to talk through things with you.
Also with parents, it's hard. But I think there does have to be like, you don't like everything they do. Mm-hmm. You have judgments about them. So, and I've had to work on this. It's like, they don't need to think 100% positively of you. And I know that is so hard, like biologically, I'm pretty sure, to process your parents not liking a certain thing about you. And it feels so panicked, like you want them to approve of everything. But the reality is you're ranting to your friends about your parents. And so just let go. Let yourself out of the prison of needing your parents' approval for everything. Because also, especially when it comes to relationships, I think it's true where you're like, parents were like, meet them at the sock hop. But also, so many people's parents are a nightmare couple.
Yes.
And so many people's parents have zero things in common. And it truly was just the guy was like, she's hot. And then the girl who was probably 15 years younger is like, yeah, I like that man. I mean, and then like they get married in 2 months and then, 2 years down, they're like, kill me. This is terrible.
Yeah. Because your parents are just two. Your parents are just two random people.
Just two right, exactly. They do not know everything there is to know about relationships. They've made their own mistakes. I think we're in a place now with online dating where we get to be so specific about who we date. I want someone who believes in all these same things as me, but also, which I think makes it easier, but I also think we move so much more. I don't think geological discussions, am I using the right word, geological, or is that rocks? Geology is rocks. Geographical is where. So my apologies.
Just corrected it.
My apologies for saying geological for this entire podcast. But geographic discussions were less so, I feel like, because it was just like, we're from this small town and we're going to stay living in this small town. So I do think you should discuss that, but mostly just let go of what your parents think.
Would you be friends with your parents if they weren't your parents? And I think that's something that should inform the way that your parents' judgment affects your life. For me, I like my parents. I would be friends with my parents if my parents weren't my parents. So I take stock of their judgment a little bit more. Yep. They have a good relationship.
Well, I was going to say,
each other.
I think you can also look at your parents and go, would I want a marriage like this?
Yes.
And if the answer is no, why are you letting them dictate how you date? Versus I think you would like a marriage like your parents in a lot of ways.
Yes, absolutely. I think our relationship is similar to my parents' relationship in a lot of ways. And I think that's really nice. So I'm quicker to take advice from them than someone who I'm like, I wouldn't be friends with this person and I don't like their relationship. Really kind of think about that.
I hope that helped. Next question. This is the longest of them, so buckle up for this. I am currently navigating having a boyfriend for the first time in my life, and we're entering into our 8th month of dating. While both of us have dated and slept around quite a bit in the past, he's also new to having a long-term relationship. Because of this, it's been a bit of a navigation process. I came into the relationship with my guard way up and kind of defending my territory, quote unquote. Oh my God.
I'm like, is the territory...
Oh, I thought you were making fun of me saying quote unquote.
Oh, she stays saying quote unquote.
Quote unquote.
I'm like, is the territory...
She explains. Let me know if this answers your question. I've just seen a lot of friends lose themselves in their relationships and it terrifies me. I think territory of who you are, your independence. Who you are.
I was like, is territory in reference to like genitals? Or is territory in reference to your partner? I'm very territorial of this person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think it was genitals.
Once again, as she always has to tell me, it's not genitals.
You always think it's about genitals. It's not. And he's notoriously very stubborn. The beginning of us dating definitely had some friction due to this, but I feel like we've been able to prioritize. Okay, they're doing good now. This weekend, we went out with some friends and pre-gamed at my friend Spencer's house. Spencer and I have been close friends for a really long time, but he only met my boyfriend once a month ago, and there was some one-sided bad blood on Spencer's side over New Year's because my boyfriend backed out last minute of New Year's Eve party plans, and that part is so convoluted I won't sidetrack you, but you said you like a lot of detail.
We do.
I have ADHD, so naturally I was running late and stressed about it. The thing is, normally I'm able to make up the time because I bike everywhere, rain or shine. But my boyfriend said it was too cold to bike, and it is also not a gay walker, which apparently means he's a slow walker.
I'm not a gay
walker? I assume
walker?
this person is gay. Well, I don't know. I don't think this person is.
Maybe they're gay.
This person might be bi, but it said not a gay walker, aka he walks at the speed of an old lady. So I think they're saying it's a positive to be a gay walker.
Is that a phrase?
I've never heard it, but
a gay walker
really means fast.
Do gay people walk fast?
I don't know. I haven't experienced
Read the rest. I'm looking up the phrase.
I got really annoyed with him on the walk for being so slow, and we bickered about it for 15 minutes. I would say on a scale of passive-aggressive to joking, it was slightly more passive-aggressive end for me. I will say, this is not even the question you're asking, but Jordan and I have had to really differentiate between arguing and joking, because we used to argue all the time where we would start joking, we're nagging each other, and I'm like, okay, stop talking to me like that. I don't know if you like me talking to me like that, or whatever. And then all of a sudden we're in an argument and we're both like, how did this happen? It's like usually because from the very beginning, we weren't really joking. You know what I mean? Like we were using joking as a way to communicate something we seriously felt versus when we're actually just joking. So we've had to be like, no more of that. Is gay walker a term?
So I have a bunch of texts from our producer, Blake, that's like, allegedly gay. He's a gay man. He's like, there's a stereotype that gay men walk fast. Okay, so the first thing that comes up is a GQ article followed by a Vice article. And both of them are titled, "Why Do Gay Men Walk So Fast?"
They're scared. They're running.
What is
They're
it?
not-
Why? I've literally never heard of this. And I've never, ever thought about any... Sorry, gay men in my lives. I don't think of you guys as walking that fast.
I feel like the gay men in my lives don't go anywhere. They stay playing their little video games. I'll say it. The only time I see a gay man walk fast is at Disneyland. Okay, let's continue. So they're like joking, arguing. It's passive aggressive. Okay. Truth be told, I think the bickering might be a bit misleading because it was mostly me talking and being like, okay, but I'm not going to walk faster to save 2 minutes, and me being a bit butthurt about it. We can move on from, we know what you feel about this scenario, Jordan.
Keep going.
She's in the wrong, you think that, and I get where she's coming from. That's not even the problem. Here we are at the actual problem. So anyways, we get to Spencer's house and are talking, and my boyfriend makes a few jokes, kind of alluding to us bickering on the walk up at my expense. First, she thinks about texting the boyfriend, being like, please don't talk about an argument we had in front of a friend. And then she decides, no, I'm not going to send a text. So when Spencer leaves the room, she turns to the boyfriend and is like, why'd you say that? And then he's like, I was joking. Sorry, we had to take a break. I went back and looked at the gender of who sent this, and I'm so sorry. Whoever wrote this question, you're a man, and you told us that.
This is two gay men.
This is making the gay walker comment make a lot more sense.
And also why they said butt hurt. Okay, everything is making more sense. Kendahl, you gotta include this kind of info.
I'm sorry. And I've also changed my mind because now knowing this is a gay man, you being late is unacceptable because why are gay men always so late?
Gay men are always late.
It's a problem. It's actually not your ADHD. It's because you're gay and you need to figure it out.
Yeah.
I love you so much. So anyways, back to the question. They get back to Spencer's house and they're talking and my boyfriend makes a few jokes kind of alluding to the bickering on the walk up at his expense. It was enough to rub me the wrong way, and I drafted a text and sent him essentially being like, hey, I know you're joking, but can you not bring up disagreements we've had in front of my friends? I opted not to send it because in my experience, text can just be misinterpreted so easily.
Yes, good job.
But when Spencer went downstairs to grab something, I mentioned it, and my boyfriend was like, I was totally kidding, and I didn't mean anything by it. We went out and had a fun rest of the night. Great. I know you're like, what does this have to do with your subject line? We've arrived. Here we are. I was hanging out with Spencer and a couple of his friends today, the day after we went out, and I had offhandedly mentioned that I would hate for my friends to secretly hate anyone I was dating in regards to a story someone was telling. And Spencer said, well, I've told you what I think about your boyfriend. And I was like, you have not. What do you mean? And then he shared that he thought my boyfriend was really mean to me in both times he'd met Spencer. He said that the whole first time we met, my boyfriend was putting me down and that last night he'd felt the same. Spencer sounded angry talking about it, which really took me aback. For example, last night I'd offered to give my boyfriend a back massage and he replied, yeah, but from anyone but you. And Spencer mentioned that. But that is because I do a bit where I give my boyfriend terrible massages, which obviously no one else would know. I also genuinely feel like we're bickering and not arguing in these instances. About half of that is what I believe your roommate called sexually charged pretend arguments. Charles said that, I guess.
Yes, Kendahl and I love a sexually charged pretend argument.
Yes, when he came on the pod. But there were some things that ran true because I had said to my boyfriend a few weeks...
Ran true?
Yeah, that were true. That ran true. That were true. I had said to my boyfriend a few weeks ago that I thought maybe we bickered too much in front of other people and it gave the wrong impression. And I have had a higher than average instance of friends, past and present, kind of using putting me down as a bit or as a way to cover their own anxiety in social situations, which I don't love. And I'm not really sure why I'm a magnet for that. I told Spencer, and I really appreciated him saying something, and that I was going to think about it and maybe talk to my therapist about it. He responded with some comments about first relationships that to me kind of inferred that I wouldn't be with my boyfriend long term, which I did feel like were well-meaning, but also got in my head a lot. Should I keep my eyes more open and assess things more? Or is that letting my anxiety take over? Should I bring it up to my boyfriend? And if so, how do I do it in a way that doesn't make him uncomfortable around my friends / throw Spencer under the bus? Thanks. Love your podcast so much. Sorry for the novel. I don't know how to edit down.
Okay. I have a bunch of thoughts.
Yeah.
Spencer, your friend, I think is also being bitchy. And I think gay men can be so bitchy with each other in a way that other people in other communities are not.
Yeah.
And I say this as someone who almost all of my friends my whole life have been almost exclusively gay men.
Yeah.
I grew up around gay men. All my parents' friends are gay men. I didn't know being a gay woman was a thing until I was way too old, because I was like, gay, that's a thing for boys. Because I knew so many gay men exclusively. They can be bitchy with each other, obviously, in a funny way, but they can also be bitchy with each other in a way that feels weird. And I think that colors a lot of this. So, for example, I think it's bitchy that your friend Spencer was like, well, you know what I think of your boyfriend. And then you being like, no, I don't, you haven't. And it's like, okay, why is he bringing that up now? Why is he bringing that up in front of these other people? If he had such an issue, why didn't he talk to you about it before?
Yeah.
Why didn't he talk to you about it privately? So that already makes me a little eye roll on Spencer.
Yeah, because also that's embarrassing. Like if I was out with a bunch of people and one of my friends was like, I think you should break up with Jordan. That would, well, I don't even know what I would do, but I would feel so embarrassed. And also it would make me deeply emotional.
Yes.
So I'm like, why you're choosing to do this in front of a bunch of people feels like you're not really thinking about my feelings.
100%.
So maybe we need to look in the mirror, Spencer.
That's exactly how I feel. I also understand the thing of being like, well, we're joking and they don't get the context of joking. But also clearly the way in which you're joking is making people uncomfortable. So I also think stop joking like that in front of your friends. I think that you can kind of poke at each other, but if I think there's truth to the poking or if there's inside jokes, stop doing inside jokes in front of other people. Nobody likes that. So that's on y'all. You got to stop doing that. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
And then lastly, being the butt of the jokes, I think is very hard. I will say I relate to this a little bit because sometimes I find that because I have a harder exterior than some other people, some of my other friends, Kendahl, for example, I think that a lot of times when people want to razz somebody, I'm kind of the easiest person to do because I take it pretty well. I have a good sense of humor. Yeah. I like razzing and I don't mind. But sometimes it can get relentless or it can feel like a pile on or it's too much. And to that, I would say, just talk to the person that you're having an issue with directly about it. Just be like, hey, I love you, but sometimes you're dunking on me too much in a way that makes me feel a little embarrassed. It makes me feel like the butt of the joke. And then I get a little self-conscious and I just don't love it.
And I think you could do that with some people in our lives.
Oh.
Or maybe I should, because I think people don't realize. I think they see you as so confident. They could never think of you being like insecure about something.
Well, this is what I'll say to that. You don't even have to be insecure because I am confident. A lot of times what it is, it's not like somebody's saying something that's making me insecure, but sometimes it's like when you're in a group and everybody's being sweet to each other and then it's just you and everyone's being like, but you are a bitch. You suck. Yeah. We all kind of hate you. Even if you know it's in a jokey way, sometimes it can get kind of like, oh, okay, well, I don't really know how to respond to this.
Yeah.
Kind of puts me in a little bit of a pickle.
Well, I think for me, because I haven't had it in that way, but I used to struggle with a similar thing when it came to my intellect. I feel like I would always struggle. I would always tell you this. I was like, everyone kind of treats me like I'm stupid. I feel like everyone thinks I'm stupid. And I've always had that. You know, like since I was a little girl, I feel like because of my ADHD or just my personality in general, you know, I'd be called an airhead, a dumb blonde, whatever it was. And I would really internalize that, and as an adult I would feel like I got really comfortable being the butt of the joke in terms of me being stupid, and I had to be real that I would play into it too. Like I would totally play into I don't know, I have no idea, I'm stupid, I'm whatever. But I would tell you when it would hurt me is then we're all joking, a conversation about something comes up, I am sharing something, I know about it, and it feels like people aren't listening or don't care, kind of like, oh yeah, okay, sure. And I'm like, see, this becomes, it's not a joke now, because this means you actually think I'm stupid, which I'm not. And I think maybe when it comes to this, we totally razz each other so much in front of people. And I will say, there are some people we don't razz each other in front of because we've learned over time, they don't get it. But I do think a skill we've had to learn, from my perspective, is razzing each other about things that are genuinely a joke.
Yes.
Like, I do think there is that really hard dynamic of, like, we're joking about things we actually feel an opinion about. We actually joke about, it's like we joke about, for example, Jordan wanting to put that Furby on our set next to my dad's urn. We joke about that because that is a non-issue.
It's
like
a non-issue.
It literally is a non-issue. Like it's genuinely funny to us. It's not even, obviously it's like not really how it happened. It's like told to be funny, but also I feel deep down that Jordan cares for my dad probably more similarly to me than anyone else I know. I don't feel disrespected in any capacity by you, and you're wanting to like commemorate my father. Like that is not a thing I feel at all. So we're able to joke about it. We are able to joke about so many things that are truly a joke. There are things that when we start getting passive aggressive jokey, it usually we have to be like, no, let's stop. Which is a muscle we've learned. I've learned to be like, okay, I know we're joking. Let's take a pause on the jokes. Are you being serious right now?
Yes.
Because that is something we really did struggle with. I feel like we would have so many arguments like that. It was like joking, and all of a sudden we're not joking, you know?
Yes. I also think it's like you can joke about things that have already been handled, are completed, or even things that you're not feeling upset about in that time. You know, I will joke about Kendahl's ADHD. And sometimes Kendahl will do things for her ADHD that will hurt my feelings or make me feel not thought about or whatever. But in those moments, I'm not joking.
Yeah.
And I know I can be very intense.
Yeah.
And you'll tease me about that. But it's never in moments where you're actually feeling like, hey, I'm feeling a little like bombarded right now, or like what, you know what I mean? Like in those moments, you have to lead with honesty. And once you're having honesty in all the other aspects of your relationship, you're able to actually make fun of people.
Yeah.
But also some people are more sensitive. So you might have friends that like can't take a joke. When we get together with our friends, Ben and Lily, all four of us are making fun of our partners, making fun of each other, making fun of ourselves. Like that's just the dynamic.
Yeah.
And it's fun and we all enjoy it. But then sometimes Kendahl and I will be with people or whatever and I'll be like, well, the old ball and chain. And I'll immediately see them be like, what? And I'm like, oh, okay, you guys just like aren't like that. You guys just don't like to tease. You don't like to joke.
Yeah.
And that's fine too. So I'm like, read the room.
But also, sorry, Spencer does not have to like your partner. Like your friends don't have to like your partner. And honestly, I think people who give unsolicited opinions like that are so annoying. If you are not obviously we've seen people where we're like, this is bad. This relationship is really bad. But even sometimes in those moments, you're like, unless it is like that person's in physical danger, you're like, there is only so much that is appropriate for me to do. This is not my relationship. This is not my life. And I think some people love to give an opinion. And I think relationships are one of the hardest things we say as people doing a relationship podcast. Relationships are some of the hardest things to give opinions on because there's so much that happens behind closed doors. Now, is there truth that like if everyone doesn't like your partner, doesn't really matter what's going on behind closed doors because clearly they're kind of an asshole? Sure.
Something's happening.
But I think there's also so much growth that has to happen in a relationship. So clearly there needs to be a conversation between you and your boyfriend about talking how you want to talk with in front of each other, how arguments need to go. Clearly there needs to be a conversation about when you're going to leave the house to leave for stuff because both of you
leave earlier. Gay men aren't walking fast enough to not be late to stuff.
Leave earlier, but then also, you know, to this person's point, it's like if we are running late and you're refusing to walk faster, it's like also I need you to kind of help me help yourself. I'm going to do my best to not run late in these 3 ways, but if we ever are running late, if you could kind of support me, there's a conversation for that, of course, but you're going to have to work on all those things and they're not going to be fixed tomorrow. And Spencer doesn't need to give his opinions every step of the way. Yeah.
The fact that Spencer did the public calling out of you feels rude to me. I don't like that.
Also, I'll say it. Oh, I'm sorry. This is mean to you.
What?
I love getting massages. Jordan may be the worst person to ever give a massage.
I've broken both my wrists multiple times, so I suffer from chronic wrist pain. Sorry that's inconvenient for you, Kendahl.
Well, it really, getting a massage from Jordan is like, it really is like when one of those, what are they called? Big mouth basses are on the, do you know what I'm talking about? Billy Big Bass or whatever it's called, hitting you in the back over and over again. I'm just saying, it's not that crazy to be like, I want a back massage from anyone but you. Jordan pays. You're very sweet. You pay for me to get back massages.
Yeah, because I can't do
so
it because
bad
both my wrists have been broken a bunch of times.
Right. And I just think that's very convenient. That's all I'll say.
Oh, you think it's easier for me to pay $150 for you to get a massage every other week because I live with chronic pain? People better be coming to my defense in these comments. I want to hear some people being like, I can't believe Kendahl's talking about Jordan like that. Please.
No, but I'm just saying you don't have to be, you and your partner can have, you're two people. You can have tiffs and problems and things you disagree with about each other. And you don't have to be like, a massage? Baby, I would want, the only thing I want in this world is for you to touch my body in front of my friends. It's like,
I have two thoughts too.
Go ahead.
Number one, does your boyfriend suck? Does he suck? Sit down, have a long, hard think about it. Does your boyfriend suck? Is he flaky or is Spencer being unreasonable about the New Year's Eve thing? Like, sit down and find your own moral compass and really figure out who you side with. But also, like, Spencer will get over it. But talk to all these people. Go to Spencer, say, hey, I didn't like when you brought that up in front of that group of people. Thought that was really rude. If you have a problem, just let me know. Not everything has to be like little digs and jabs and things that you never fully address. I know people think it's like a big drama being like, hey, can I talk to you about something? But like, just, it's so quick and easy and let's just clean it up and we're done.
Yeah, and 100%. I totally agree. But I also, to answer one of your other questions, I don't think you should, this is just my opinion, I don't think you should tell your boyfriend that Spencer said that. Because I think you now are setting up
Unless you're not going to be friends with Spencer anymore.
Unless you're not going to be friends with Spencer, which I'm also not opposed to that. You know, I'm a big wife guy. If Jordan doesn't like someone, you're done. Bye. Sorry. I know people might say that's unhealthy. I don't care. Because guess what? My wife doesn't dislike many people.
True.
So if my wife doesn't like you. Yeah. Oh, I think it's hilarious when a friend, I've had not many times, but a friend will try to say something about you.
One time.
Honey, bye.
One specific person.
What do you think I'm going to do?
Who I'd been so nice to.
You'd been so nice to. What do you think I'm going to do? Be like, oh yeah, I agree. You'll never hear me talking about my wife. That's from my therapist.
And join Patreon to find out who that friend was.
I will tell you on Patreon. No, don't sign up for that. I can't decide yet. I have just too much pressure. I need to think about it. But I'm close. Hope that answered your question. Thank you for listening to that whole spiel. I did feel like I like also, I don't want to get rid of the details because I like getting to know these people too. I want to hear all the lore.
These are our family.
Here we go. The next question. So I-20, non-binary, AFAB, met this girl, 18 female, just over a week ago at this pop-up arcane-themed boba shop.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Sometimes people are just saying stuff and I'm like 100%.
We exchanged Instas and I've been texting pretty frequently ever since, and it's been flirtatious.
I love.
She's super sweet and enthusiastic in her text. She's so real, and we have so many common interests: bands, music, horror, shows, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about her. Ooh, cute. Unfortunately, she lives 3 hours away.
I could have told you that.
Oh, man. And she doesn't have a car, but I do. I really want to keep getting to know her better. I want to go visit her and hang out at the mall or a park or a thrift store or whatever. What worries me, though, is this. I've never been in a queer relationship, and I'm not even sure what I want, much less what she wants. I'm demisexual. Oh, demi-romantic. I read it as I'm demisexual and democratic. It's like, okay. I'm demisexual and demi-romantic, and I'm very hesitant in relationships, but I can't stop thinking about her. I'm so unfamiliar with crushes, especially queer ones, and the feelings and thoughts that go along with them, and I don't have many friends to confide in about this. So here I am, writing into y'all's lovely podcast. Well, we're your friends, so that's perfect. I fear I'm just overthinking everything. I want to go visit her by the end of the month just to hang out in person and experience more of the real her, not just the person I've romanticized through text. Whether it's just a friendship or it becomes something more, I just want to get to know her better. So I guess if I'm asking for anything here, it's that y'all slap some sense into me, please.
No, this is good. You're happy. You're having fun. You're both young. Drive 3 hours and go see her. Who cares? It's going to get annoying that she doesn't have a car eventually, but y'all will cross that bridge when you come to it. It doesn't matter. You're having fun. You seem so excited. Just lean into it. Why not? And you even said you're open to friendships. Do not psych yourself out being like, this is my first queer relationship. I don't know what I want. None of that matters. I will say it time and time again until I'm blue in the face. I think a big problem that we have in the queer community is people being very quick to be like, but this is a queer relationship. Well, this is my first queer relationship. Well, I've never. It doesn't matter. A queer relationship is the same thing as a straight relationship, other than, in my opinion, some inherently political differences, obviously, in terms of like queerness at large. But you're not going to be like doing something different in a queer relationship than I think you should be doing in a straight relationship. Every single relationship, you want to find someone who's compatible. You want to find someone who's respectful. You want to find someone who you enjoy and who wants the same thing as you.
Yeah.
So don't put too much pressure on yourself around being like, this is my first queer relationship. It's fine. Even if it's your first relationship in general, it's fine. You will figure it out. And to me, the same thing goes for you don't know what you want. Just be honest about that. Don't get caught up in things and be like, I want to marry you when that's not actually how you feel.
But I also think sometimes we use a defense mechanism of, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want.
True.
How come you're going to tell me I don't know what I want and then list in 3 paragraphs everything that you want?
It's true.
You may not know what you want long term, sure. But you think you don't know what you want to do, and yet you keep being like, I'm obsessed with this girl. I want to get to know the real her. Come on. You're already in the car driving right now.
Absolutely.
Stop pretending you know what you want. It's easy. If you just look inward, what do I want? Well, I don't know what I want for maybe the future, maybe in the next 2 weeks. What do I want right now? I like her. I want to go see her. Go do it.
And I think there are things too, and this is not where you're at, but I think there are things like, I 100% don't want children. This person 100% does want children. Makes sense to know that. Makes sense to think about that. If you don't know if you want children, it's fine to say, I don't know if I want children or not.
Yeah.
If you are open to something long-term, but you're also open to something short-term, it's fine to say that. All of these things are normal. But in terms of like having your whole life and every wish and want planned out ahead of time, this person you're talking to could move to outer space in 3 weeks. You have no clue. Nothing is guaranteed. There's no way to know. So just go with what you want. Try to think big picture, but be reasonable and just be honest. And I think you'll be fine.
And fine means also, if you're living your life properly, you're going to upset people. Making someone upset, hurting someone's feelings, making someone sad, that's a part of life, and you can't not do that. And also, it's not illegal. Newsflash. I think some people are like, oh, I hurt her. That's bad. I am bad. And it's like, no, if you decide, I think in dating all the time, I mean, you hear this a lot in the queer community because people be like, well, I'm bisexual, but I've never kissed a girl, so I'm worried to go on a date with someone and then like kiss them and then not be you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, and then you'll be like, bye, I'm actually not interested in you. And she might be sad, and that's fine.
And that's okay.
You're not in charge of that woman.
Would happen with a man.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you would go on a date with a man and then maybe you kiss him and it's not there. And then you're like, okay, I'm not feeling it. And then you send them a respectful text message and then you don't see each other anymore.
Exactly right.
And I think it's the same thing. That's what I'm saying. Don't put all this pressure on it being like, it's queer now. It's so different. It's like, it's not. People, I think, want to romanticize homosexuality in a way that is very fun sometimes, but I think in other ways can be really oppressive, really stunting, really scary. And it's like, Kendahl and I's relationship is the most normal relationship I have ever been in. Yeah. And it's a gay relationship. So I'm like, just relax.
Yeah, totally. All right. Next question. Hey, love you both in that weird parasocial way. I feel like we're friends. We love you too. I need help. We have an annual camping trip with our friends coming up. We need to do that.
No.
An annual camping trip? God, That's fun.
We don't like camping. You don't like camping either. What are you talking about?
An annual camping trip?
Let's just go to BJ's and get a Pizookie. You like that more.
Now, wait a minute.
Thank you.
You know me so well. There's about 15 of us plus a couple kids.
15?
Plus a couple kids. This is the thing. 2 of those friends had an affair. The guy is single and the girl is engaged to my cousin. Stop writing in and pull out the cameras. Film this camping trip.
Finish the question.
This is reality TV gold. Let me say it again. The 2 friends had an affair. The guy is single and the girl is engaged to my cousin. And they all come camping, usually. It came out a year later that they had sex at our friend's wedding. Upon further investigation, it also turns out that summer they hooked up on our annual camping trip the night her fiance was stuck at work.
Okay, so these people have been together multiple times now.
On the camping trip, it sounds like.
But also at a wedding. These people are just hooking up. This was not a one-time mistake.
No, this is an affair.
Keep going.
An affair means continued. I'm pretty sure. We're all adults and affairs shouldn't be everyone's business, but it feels like one affects our friend group dynamic and it feels yucky.
Yes.
They do not have an open relationship, and my cousin didn't find out until after the friend group found out, unfortunately. The guy drunkenly told the friends, and then the girl was forced to tell. How do I get in this friend group? I want a friend group like this. I love my friends. There's nothing going on.
Kendahl, you don't want to leave our house. You're not going on a sexually fueled camping reality TV show. So relax.
We're so boring. We have nothing. We're all in happy little relationships. I'm bored and I'm over it. Do something. Cheat on me, please.
Okay. All right, okay.
Please don't.
Blake, our producer, get in here.
The question is, should we just uninvite them this year?
Yes.
Is that petty or entitled? I feel it would put my cousin in an awkward position now that he knows, but I also feel bad him missing out. Thanks.
Is the cousin still with the woman? It seems like yes.
The guy is single and the girl is engaged to my cousin.
The girl is still with the cousin.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Why is the cousin...
They're still together. Just invite the cousin. Invite the cousin and then everyone get him a cookie cake that says I'm sorry and frosting on it.
The cousin seems fine.
I have no clue.
Seems like the cousin came out on top. I know the cousin heard the information offhand.
No, the cousin's sad. The cousin has stuff going on. What's going on with the cousin that the cousin's going to go on this camping trip again with his fiance or wife that cheated, plus the person she cheated with? Something's going on with the cousin.
The cousin I don't think cheated.
No, Kendahl.
No, the cousin didn't get cheated on.
Yes.
We have an annual camping trip with my friends. The guy is single. The girl is engaged to my cousin.
So the cousin got cheated on.
No, Oh.
What did you think
I thought
happened?
the guy and the girl had an affair, and it ended up later that the cousin and the girl got together.
So that would not be an affair. That would be called hooking up.
That would be dating.
That would be dating. No. So I'm like, why are they going on another camping trip where the cousin and his wife or fiance plus the guy, because I thought it was all going to be secret. It was going to be like, my cousin still doesn't know, and that's why we're still doing this. Why is your cousin agreeing to go on this camping trip again? Something is going on with your cousin. Check in with your cousin. That is not well behavior, is what I'll say first and foremost. Secondly, uninvite them. They are creating a weird dynamic, and I think them having sex on your camping trip after they've already had sex before, they are being inconsiderate to the group. They're putting everyone in a weird situation.
Well,
and
what I need
to
know, are the kids theirs? Whose kids are?
Probably other people in the friend
group.
group.
Imagine.
Sure.
Because that could also answer your question as to why the cousin wants to come on the trip. Maybe they're trying to do a co-parenting thing.
Maybe, I don't know. Once again, we need more information, but I'm just like, talk to your cousin. That's weird, but uninvite all of them. I think that when they started, once again, I always say this, a one-time heat of the moment thing, I think can be forgiven, and I think it can be moved past. I don't think that's always intentional. I think sometimes it's just caught up. These people have now, at least that we know of, had sex twice. Both times at friend functions, putting kind of everyone in a weird position.
Yeah.
I think that's inconsiderate. I think you're all just kind of like pawns in their sexual escapades, and they're being inconsiderate. I think they get uninvited from camping.
All right. I'm going to speed it along.
Do you think I'm right or wrong?
I think you're right. I think I would, ultimately though, I would love to go on this camping trip. I really, I think this sounds chaotic, but I would like to witness. First of all, I think it's bad because my advice would be like, well, don't uninvite. It doesn't affect you. Just kind of let the drama happen and enjoy it.
No, Kendahl, that's not good advice.
I know, but that's what I would do.
All right, we have time for one more quick one.
Can I do two? I'll be really fast.
No, we're already over.
Oh my God. Okay, well then I need to do I need to do one more, and then I'm going to do a shout out. And then there's an update, but we'll save it. Someone from another episode wrote in a question. They sent an update.
We'll do another one of these.
We'll do that later, but all
promise.
I'm saying is we're doing more Q&As. Here we go. Love the podcast. Just became a spouse on Patreon. God bless you.
Thank you.
I'm going to try to keep it brief, but some background information is important. My partner and I have been together for almost 5 years, and we're planning on getting engaged soon. I'm bisexual, pansexual woman, and he is a mostly straight man. He's the love of my life, and we're very excited to build a life together. Financially, we split things based on income, and this works well for us. When it comes to an engagement ring, my partner wants us to split the cost the same as all our other expenses.
Boo.
Although I understand where he's coming from, I really don't want to pay for my engagement ring. Also, my partner has autism, so changing rules can often be difficult for him. Any advice? This is funny to me because it's really not that hard. You buy your engagement ring, and you buy his engagement ring,
and he buys yours.
And just make them the same price.
Yeah, or just have him set a budget of what he feels comfortable doing.
Also, you guys got to have something in place for when rules do change, because that's not going to work, that there's just no rules changing ever, because it doesn't mean that something being harder for someone. Listen, with my ADHD, when I'm building a desk and I realize that I don't have all the tools, it makes me want to, I won't even say because I'll get demonetized what I want to do. Changing plans for me with ADHD can be really hard. I have to do it. I've had to work through breathing exercises so I don't punch a hole in the wall, but I have to do it.
Yeah.
So something's got to be in place.
I spent thousands of dollars on therapy and anti-anxiety medications because I got it, So I think it's like, just because something's going on doesn't mean it's the reason. If you don't want to pay for your own engagement ring and that makes you feel bad, express that. I'm also like, that's not a rule change.
We'll talk about rule change.
That's what I'm saying.
The rule is usually that you pay for your wife's engagement ring.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, what's the rule change? That's the normal.
Rule change is that they always split everything straight down the middle.
I'm just like, how is that a rule change?
Because now they're not.
So they split the cost of all their Christmas gifts for each other? They split the cost of every birthday gift for each other?
They might do like a budget or something. I don't know.
But a budget is different.
Don't point your little hand at me.
A budget is different.
Don't point your little fucking hand at me.
No, but a budget is different. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, I think the being like, rule changing is hard for him. I'm like, it might be. That seems like a very interesting and confusing way for that to be applied to this situation, to me personally. And you did ask for my advice. So what I'm saying is, decide on a budget together, make that rule together. If rule stuff is really important to him, make that rule together. Then you buy his ring, he buys your ring. If he doesn't want a ring, he buys your ring, you buy his suit for the wedding, whatever. Like, there's a way to make it equitable if y'all's whole thing in your relationship is that everything is equitable.
Yeah.
I think there's a way to figure it out.
And need I say, congratulations on the engagement.
And congratulations. You guys are going to have a great marriage, and I'm excited for you.
I just have to say this. Gerard, who is our sugar mommy on Patreon.
Gerard!
Wrote in a question. And he said, P.S. You have no idea how much joy it brought me to hear that I was your first sugar mommy in this week's mini-sode. I love what you do. I'm so happy to be able to support it, even just a little. Gerard, we adore you. We're not answering your question this week because I ran out of time. I literally planned for it to be the last question. We ran out of time. But next time, your question will be answered.
Gerard, you are the ultimate patron of the arts. Thank you so much. We love you.
We adore you.
We have to finish. And everyone say goodbye to the Spotify office.
It's done. It's goodbye.
Who knows where we'll be next week. Okay.
Your Patreon support is appreciated now more than ever.
Comment, subscribe.
Love you. Bye.